Hello, welcome in. This is a new, no, yes, this is a summer solstice update reading for the connections, for divine connections, for divine love, um, twin flame if you want to label it, divine counterparts if you want to label it. I don't personally use labels. I think that gets away from the overall point of these readings. Personally, where I'm at, I'm more of an intuitive reader, and I know that I'm relatively high up on the ascension scale at this point. Confirmation the last few days and whatnot. So likely, what I will be channeling is higher level connections. As you can see, my eyes are so light today. I mean, granted, I have a light right on me, but they're so light today. Apologize for not having an update since the 6/6 portal. There's been a lot going on in my life, a lot of development, a lot of spiritual development, more or less. I've leveled up significantly, and it all led to personally last night for me, where I feel so much more in tune with everything, and there are a lot more questions now as a result of that. I don't know if you guys had a similar sort of experience. I know that personally for myself, the dream entered the reality. It was like earth and heaven colliding. I went to this jazz club, and I was present with somebody who you might label as a divine masculine, yang energy, right? We're both on the same wavelength with a lot. And we were in this back room, and just these experiences kept on happening. Like, we kept on tapping into what the other one was going to say and whatnot. And like just dreamlike situations happened in this VIP room of this establishment. It was very weird. It was like being in like an elevator going up until like, I'm pretty sure I shook the hand of a ghost. I know how nuts that sounds, but like the energy of this room, it was just, it was giving me like, I don't know, like you ever see if you've ever seen American Horror Story, Hotel, like the way that the ghosts interact with the living in that, like where they can actively hang out with you. It very much had that sort of vibe going for it. There definitely came a point where I felt myself clipping into an alternate reality where this was just a dream, and I was waking up passed out in the other room, and that room never existed. So it kept on happening when we encountered this ghost, right? This other force. And this masculine figure says, do you want to leave? I think it's time to leave. And we did. And then I said, I'm not convinced that wasn't a ghost. And he goes, yeah, I'm not convinced either. So if you had an odd experience, please feel free to share in the comments below, especially if you're like on a higher level. I believe that this is going to get more and more as we progress toward the Aquarian age. I know that Wicked Virgo talks about this if you follow her, that like we're in the midst of the rapture. And you know what? I think I'm a believer, because that shit felt like I was on the boundary of reality in heaven. It felt like I was like all points were coming to one place. I firmly believe that it'll be somewhat similar to what we experienced last night. So without further ado, I'm gonna start reading for feminine, for the yin, sort of like where she's at and whatnot. I know I could talk on this forever. I feel like the cards are actually a crutch, because like they might just not coincide with a proper channel. I think I might be better with a proper channel and not actually using cards. But it's always good practice and whatnot, especially when I do evolve into a position of taking on clients. As you might know, I live a regular life currently. I'm also a musician. And I don't get too many opportunities to really update information. Like I said, like life has just been crazy. I've had to sort through a lot. I've leveled up severely in the last 2 weeks. Like years of sagely wisdom just dumped on me after I started this page, and like it's just impressive. The whole thing is just it's divine, right? Like that's the only words I have for it. I personally feel as if currently, there's a lot of energy trying to bog me down, bog down my feminine energy, because being in the presence of this counter energy, it allows me to relax into the femininity that is personally aligned with my soul. I'm a very creative person, very nurturing person. Despite this outward appearance, that is who I am. None of this matters. The physical sense of me does not matter. That matters. Being that person matters. What is congruent with yourself. So all of this physical stuff, it doesn't matter. And if I had one channeled message for the feminine, it is specifically it's from a song. I will not resist you, though I'll move slow and scared, truly alive. I know I'll find you there, right? And the context of the masculine right now is ascending beyond the boundaries of the mind, the limitations that the mind perceives, right? So you could be watching this for either yourself, you could be watching this for another person, you could be watching this just independently. There are many tiers to this journey. I'm going to try and make this as accessible as possible. I personally channel a higher level, like I said. Do not force things to resonate. If you are on a lower level, you need to be able to decipher and translate for yourself that this is applying to a lower level connection that is not fully developed, right? If your waking life does not feel like you are on drugs all the fucking time. I felt like I was on mushrooms and I was stoned. That figure entering into the room last night, the man, he said, he's like, what weighs up and what weighs down, in this room, you don't know what rabbit hole you're going under. And like, that's sort of when my gift started getting real triggered, and he picked up like, yeah, we gotta, which is important, right? Because the more I'm a very stubborn person. I'm naturally by nature a Taurus, and like I will find myself in a position where it's like, no, I got this, I'm fine. But it takes somebody else some time to recognize that I'm not fine for me to move forward, because you know what, I trust an external source objectively choosing that path for me, right? Leading that way, that is the masculine. The masculine should be leading the feminine, right? Should be welcoming of that leadership, not consoling her in this time and whatnot. Be like, you know what, that's it, we're leaving. Being very firm. So the masculine. So yeah, those are my personal channeled messages. Let's see what the tarot has for this. Starting with the feminine, as I said, I believe that there's a lot of forces sort of trying to contain her, trying to prevent her from being able to break beyond and being able to get to the next level of development with these people. It is always important to make sure that you purge. Oh, see, there we go. Three of Pentacles. It is always very important to make sure that you're purging these connections. See, when I see this, I really, especially this particular Three of Pentacles, I see a family forging right here, right? I mean, in a way, like it could look like he's Well, that's not a she. That's two bulls, but uh, it's a very abundant card. It looks very celebratory. And while this isn't here, there's very clearly rains here. So it's almost as if something that is unseen, is trying to hold, and specifically the red color, right? Like the thread of fate around the finger I'm reminded of. It almost seems as if there's something guiding this feminine and masculine energy together. It is imperative to be aware of negative forces around you that don't want this to come together. Of course, don't be afraid of them, but don't welcome them either. Like, if you know that your house is haunted and like things start going missing and it starts getting really bad and whatnot, like you don't stay. No matter how powerful you are, right? Like, and preaching this coming from me, I'm working in a workplace that is haunted, bad. And like, this should be enough of an indicator of like, don't work there, Travis. But yet I continue to go because the money's good and I don't personally have a problem. But like every time, it's an old Victorian that's converted into a restaurant. And every time I go into the basement for ice, some weird shit happens, right? Like, what happened the other day? When I was grabbing ice, I heard bang, bang, bang from the storm door. But there's nothing on the other, like there's like a door and then there's small steps and like concrete. There's nothing. There's no way anybody could have been behind that door. And then like one time I was up stairs, right, about to go down, I heard like a door slam in the basement. Like, just things that should not be happening that are happening. These are very clear indicators that that something is there, and I do sense a really dark presence as well. And I don't want to use the word dark presence because darkness is still love. It's still a good thing. There is a very evil presence within that cellar, but this goes into and reflects the negative forces that could be surrounding the feminine at this time, that could be trying to hold her back. I know that I felt immaculate up until I just took a shower and like I feel like I washed off all of that goodness that I absorbed last night. And like the home that I'm living in right now, it's no longer congruent with my reality. And I'm recognizing that very, very quickly. Like, being here feels like poison now to me. Despite how bright my eyes are, it very much feels in a way like it's trying to hold me back because of the fact that, like, I'm manifesting my true family, right? I'm manifesting my true home, and it's so very close. And now that I'm aware of it, the house is aware of it, the family, the blood is aware of it, and it does not want that, right? It had a very negative effect on me within this last week. You might have felt that as well, where like, just certain tensions and whatnot, it was bringing out the worst in you. It was leaving you out in the cold. It wasn't serving you, right? But even though you were out in the cold, still very much attractive, still very much everything that you needed to be in that situation. And it has been bringing you this new beginning. It's been bringing you like sexual charm almost. And I very rarely bust out the S word. I don't sort of live on that plane anymore. Sexual attraction is just attraction of the mind. I don't believe that that's an important factor in spiritual development. A lot of spiritual practitioners will disagree with me, but you got to get beyond the boundaries of the mind. Spiritual connection, so much more important. Getting beyond the physical to be able to appreciate the astral, right? You see these stories of like these extremely fit guys who are with these heavy set women, and like that's love. I have a friend who fell down the stairs a few years ago. He played bass so well, and he damaged his brain permanently. He was with this girl. She's been with him ever since, and he tugged a little off. He'd laugh at that, but like he's never like his left arm isn't functioning. But he's still him, but like like you can look at her and him and see that that's true love. Somebody who stood by his side, that devoted and whatnot. And you have to imagine like being in a coma for as long as he was. Like that had to have been a spiritual experience as well. Um, so, yeah, like there are examples of true love in our world that go beyond those boundaries of the things that separate us. So many people want to, my ex who catalyzed my awakening, thought that he was loving me by telling me that, excuse me, by not celebrating my gifts that I came into, right? Like, try to convince. This is a major cycle that I was able to quit recently, because now I have somebody who's willing to accept that these spiritual gifts and this attuned nature to one another isn't godless. It's divine. It's cool. It's fun to experience. My ex didn't like that. My ex said that's against God. Jesus wouldn't approve. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I just take that as just like I thought that dichotomy was necessary, but you know what? It was that dichotomy was necessary to learn from. That's not the way that somebody should be treating you. They should be able to accept all of you, even those parts. And like when I was spiritually questioning everything, it made sense that I attracted that mirror. Now I have a different mirror. Now I have a mirror that's supporting me in everything I do, right? Like it's nice. It's platonic, but it's nice. Transformation. You've absolutely, and I held that in reverse. I normally don't do reversals, but I realized that I accidentally did this in reverse. But what I see is ascension. Because upside down, it's different, right? But it almost looks like descension. This is ascension. Transformation in a positive light, right? In a very, very good light, feminine. So it sounds like you are very much on the same level playing field as me right now, where this last couple of weeks, it's just been so much, and so much for the better as well. So much for the better. Wishes coming true. You honestly can't make this up. And this is something that all these tarot readers state and whatnot. Like, you can't make up you can't make it up. They all say it, and you really can't. Advice. Crossroads. Maybe one of you has a cat. That resonates here. Maybe you both have cats. Maybe the person you're connecting with has a cat too. I don't have a cat. But crossroads. You're both looking away from one another. You're both so close. Think about like the way that like cats sort of like they cuddle with each other. It doesn't matter. Like, don't be so go with the process. There we have it. Go with the flow, right? This is a process. As you're getting closer and closer to manifesting whatever this is, allow it to be, as I said earlier, allow it to be at his pace. Remain in your femininity. Damn it! I have had this cough for so goddamn long now at this point. It does not sound good. And it just sneaks its way in. Anyway, trust the process. Allow him to lead. If it's going to go further, that's on him. Don't start planning your wedding. Don't do any of that stuff. Take it day by day. Allow him to take the lead, right? allow him to, because some of this more playful nature, it might not be, the intention might not be romance. It might just be, I'm just comfortable with you. So be aware of that. Be aware of the way that your emotions want to take flight. I still get this impression that you need to somewhat, be careful with those emotions. Those emotions can get destructive. And I know this could be very confusing at this time, but it is very much important that you learn that restraint. That you don't, fall too much into your masculine, because if you do, that's gonna disrupt the trajectory of this. Yeah. So I think that's the reading I have for you. Let's see what's going on with them. I am going to utilize China Tarot, and immediately, I didn't even shuffle yet. All right, we're keeping this off on the side, and I'm going to shuffle. And when I feel called to look at that card, I will. Yeah, they're just popping out today, it seems. What I do know, what is going on with masculine at this time, masculine's going on a journey of self-discovery, to reset, to learn things about himself. If he is not physically doing that, then understand that this is something that is happening to him, because he is not making those choices. So that's how it might reflect in your real world circumstance. If that is the case and he is shutting down, be very mindful of the fact that just at this time he needs the space, right? Like I just said to you to go with the flow and allow him to lead. If this is right, a promise is a promise. He'll make his way back. And Six of Swords. So Six of Swords, coming out of stormy water, and into much more calm ones. So that is very indicative. I thought this was 8, to be perfectly honest. I'm actually glad. I'm actually relieved to see that it's the Six of Swords. Coming out of rough waters and into calm ones, so very much reflecting the feminine here. Very much sort of breaking free of a major cycle, and now going with the flow into a new sort of zone of life, which I do believe is very reflective. Four of Pentacles, hardship. No, that's the 5. Wait, fuck. Is it the 5 or is it the 4? It's the 5 is hardship. 4 is trying to picture it in my head. I'm really bad at these. Choice. Oh, that's right. Wait. It's the card with no, that's Cups. Damn it. I feel really bad that I don't know these. I shouldn't use these, but this is such a masculine deck because it's so literal. The world may never know. If you personally know that card, but I'm gonna try and pull for a different one for a clearer message, because ouch, that hurts. I'm sorry. One of these days, I am really going to know them. As I have stated in my previous video, I have not practiced tarot in like well over a year at this point. And there was a point where I was really good at reading these despite not knowing. But it's just not in the cards, so to speak. All right, this feels like it resonates a bit more. Okay, the Chariot. Right? Let's get it so you can see it. The Chariot, into calm waters, but Oh, okay. So I get this impression hardship or loss is sort of what I believe the Pentacles are about. Even if it's not, then that's the message that's coming through. And understanding that frustration is allowing for a lot of quick travel. Masculine over the course of the next month, I'm hearing, is going to learn a lot. A lot. It's going to be extremely transformative for him as well. Strength should pull him through. It's that balance here, right? Possibly Leo season, which would be a little more than a month. No, exactly a month, I think. Leo season starts in a month. So, hey, confirmation, can't make this shit up. But it's that balance of masculinity and femininity, the animalistic nature of the masculine versus the divine nature of the feminine, coming together and creating true strength. Specifically within this connection, specifically within himself. He's very much attempting to align with his masculine more, and very much connected with this fuck it. If that's what I gotta do, fuck it. Very masculine who is not as resistant. For those who, this is why I'm struggling with these messages, because of the fact that I'm getting two different levels, right? For the one who is struggling with his identity and everything else, imagine that there is a lot of confusion coming in for the lower end of that collective. Confusion as to what direction, wanting to grip onto reality in some sense. The wheel. And it's such a weird wheel card. It looks like she's like shitting. Very strange. I don't, out of all the cards in this deck, I don't understand this one at all. It's a very odd card, but like she's shit in the bed. So that kind of, I want to say that in this deck, it takes on a bit of a negative connotation more so than in other decks where it's just, the changing of a cycle. I do believe that they're leveling up, throughout this process. I do believe that, this is bringing them more in line with who they need to be. Bringing them more in line with everything that they have attempted to manifest. Life is just getting easier the more that they relax into the zone. Clearing up a cycle, right? It's going to be a rough road. A lot of information. It's going to be a lot of stuff ahead for them to sift through, to understand. Because that 10 of Wands energy, like it's just almost defeated. However, judgment will tell. Judgment will absolutely tell. It's almost as if and I don't know, with all this rapture analogy and everything, like it's almost like it's judgment day, right? Like making that call. Are you going to choose the higher timeline, or are you going to choose the lower timeline? There aren't many opportunities left. I will tell you that. We're running out of opportunities for evolved. And I hear somebody panicking, right? Don't panic. You got to have faith through it. You gotta be able, like, when you're on the other side of it, judgment is a good thing, right? Like, the guilty shall receive their just reward. When you're not, then you're like, well, they shouldn't because they struggled and and it's like, you had plenty of opportunities. You had plenty of opportunities to level up and you chose not to. If you're going to church every single Sunday thinking that you are going to ascend beyond because you're chosen, because you did the right thing, well, I have news for you. You ain't going. You know why? Because you never actually did the work. The work was never showing up on Sunday and proving to someone else. The work was always within yourself. Oops. The irony of that is kind of funny to me personally. Not the eternal damnation part, but like, you know, when it comes to a point in religion and faith where, and this reflects on the masculine's journey right now, right? Religion ain't gonna do shit for you anymore because it can't, because you come to a point where you have to do it alone. You can't do it with these teachers. You can't do it for anyone else. You have to do it for you. And for feminine, it's sink or swim. We understand that. The world comes crashing down around us and we don't have a choice, right? For the masculine, it is his choice. He has to look objectively at the world and be like, you know what? I'm leaving that behind. You know what? This is everything I've ever wanted. It's right there. It doesn't totally look like what I wanted, but you know what? Fuck it. So, yeah, that is an important message that I just channeled. Judgment is coming. Judgment is going to decide if we allow for the boundaries of this world to get in the way of the heart. And, you know, as more of these connections unwind and happen, as we break down those boundaries, you know, more and more people are going to follow suit. This is important. And I want to say this is specifically more toward the people who were going through their awakening in 2020. We're at the precipice of another 2020 system. Not fun. But it'll be fine. You know why it'll be fine? One, because the fact that the feminine already went on her journey. This time, it's happening to the masculine. This is my channeled prophecy, if you want to hear it, right? If not, you know, you could. I don't think I'm going to talk anymore about these energies, but the feminine got locked in her house, right? We all had to learn how to cook. We all had to be there for our kids. We reconnected with our actual feminine. You know, the only jobs that continued were masculine-based jobs, right? That needed logic and whatnot. Those jobs continued, right? The masculine level of those jobs continued. And at bars, you were there just making drinks for to go. You weren't talking to people. You weren't offering mindful suggestions. You weren't doing the feminine aspect of the job. We're gonna see a flip. Specifically, I want to say 2024 is go time for that. Especially it's an election year. I mean, like, people talk about like Project Blue Beam, all those tinfoil hat conspiracies. I don't know. They're getting pretty bad at, like, you know, I never heard of any of this shit. And like, the more shit that happens, the more it like confirms it. It's like, so is that what they're doing? Because I mean, they've said all these things aren't true, and then like you're presenting all this proof that you are kind of doing that. Anyway, should something like that happen, imagine that, I don't know, they might make us evacuate our homes and take up red states so that we vote blue in red states or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, which politics is an illusion. I didn't vote the last election. I consent to no power over me. I consented to neither choice. I consented to no responsibility over either choice. No matter what way the world went, it was not my problem. You know why? Because I don't live in that system anymore. Fuck it. You know, whatever the NPCs want to vote for, they can, thinking that one of these people is going to help them. They're not. They're never going to help. It's never going to help. It's just not. Surprise. But in general, you have You know, where feminine was locked in, the masculine is the going to war, right? There might be like a draft, or you know, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be the same but different. It's going to be a mirror reflection of it, so that the masculine forces that have not aligned with their destiny are forced to, in the same way that the feminine had to endure and reconnect with herself. So it understands that something like that might happen in some degree, so that people evolve into everything that they need to be, so that they can come home and they could be their most aligned self. And from that, tear down the old world through love, through loving one another, through being everything that they needed to be. Disembodying this belief that love does not transcend. Disembodying this belief that that fairy tales are stories for a reason. They're not real. A real person just marries somebody for their money, or, you know, because they're attracted to them sexually, or, you know. True love is something beyond. Beyond. That's what it should be. It should invoke magic. It should, I don't know, be as if heaven and earth are colliding. Like you're living inside of a dream. So with that, I leave you with this message. I don't know the next time I'll be back. I'm pretty sure I'm about to go through a ton of spiritual development. So I will try to keep you updated. Don't forget to follow my TikTok account and my Instagram, Venusian Phoenix. Venusian Phoenix on TikTok, Venusian Phoenix Tarot on Insta. I don't post that regularly, but feel free to do that. Catch you later.